Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
Because Mom is usually right, but not when it comes to IDing astronauts, because Space Nerd over here has it down.
Great Hera! Who'd have believed that Shannon Farnon would be introducing these funny science fiction videos?
The podcast that even Wonder Woman's lasso of truth couldn't make us say something witty or funny. I mean, come on, it can't bring out what isn't there. Our guest today is the original Wonder Woman from SuperFriends, one of my all-time favorite animated series. Of course, we're talking about the wonderful Shannon Farnon.
Thank you. I'm glad that I'm so wonderful.
Thank you for joining us, Shannon. We are very excited for you to be here.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun for me. As we were talking pre-show, I watched SuperFriends religiously. Actually, in my adult years, I went back and I bought all the DVDs so I could watch them with my kids. And it's been a very important show to me in my life. So thank you for all your work in the show and giving me something fun to watch and be a cool part of my childhood. So thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome, Tim. And as it turned out, it's been a pretty wonderful part of my life, too. Although
excellent.
We weren't expected at the time. It was a job, it was a gig, it was something we showed up to do, and then lo and behold, look what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that looking in your information on IMDb about your background, and I read through the bio that was listed there. You come from a very talented background and family of creative people. There's actors, and I think one of your sisters as well is also an actor, an actress and voice actor, and there's writers, and there's just two of them. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's hard to keep up with the Farnan girls, you know.
But yeah, there's musicians, singers, writers, actors, all this fun stuff.
Yes,
So
yeah.
When you were growing up, did you feel an additional obligation or pressure to be creative, or did you always want to be somewhere in the arts?
You know, I think I could sort of sum that up by saying you can't teach an actor how to act, but you can teach him where to move and what props to use. So we were born into a family where everybody was creative. My sisters and I were given all the classes we wanted. My little sister was just born with this fabulous singing voice. I don't think we paid much attention to it. We didn't feel pressure, certainly didn't feel pressure to go into the business, and felt mostly support. I mean, it's just something we sort of naturally gravitated to.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. I always wonder about that when there's legacies like that, where there's so many people in one family who do something. If there's all these people who are doctors, and then this one person wants to be a lawyer, and then there's all these people who are actors, but this one person wants to be a singer. So it's good to know that there was a nice background there for you to bolster your creativity.
And my two uncles, my father and his two brothers, were really just born musicians, self-taught, and were in the army together. And I mean, really, it was just an automatic. Well, Robert Farnan became a major composer, conductor, arranger, film scorer. His brother Dennis Farnon did all the things for cartoons, music-wise. He and his wife started the Grammy Awards. My mother was a singing comedian after she was acting out here for a couple of years in films, way back in the George O'Brien days. Everybody we met, my dad was never without a job. He was an orchestra leader at one club after another, from the Chez Paris in Chicago to out here to the Moulin Rouge, and the last 30 years of his life was at Harris Club in Lake Tahoe. So we were as little children, being danced around the dance floor at a club by, Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra. So didn't every child do this? This is how you grow up.
I wish.
I can say with a certainty, no, that didn't happen for me. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, I grew up with Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. music through my grandmother, but not actually getting to be with them. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it was. As I look back, of course, I recognize, oh, that was really special. But at the time, it
was just what you did.
I think what gave me staying power, this is just an assumption, of course, there's no guarantees I really know this, is that it was so taken for granted that I didn't go through this business with thin skin or feel like I was being rejected if I didn't get a part, or having any undue expectations. It was the work I chose to do, and like the work you choose might be to become a doctor or an engineer or whatever. It's what you choose to do. So there's probably an advantage, as long as you're not pressured by your parents or family. It's probably an advantage of being in an entertainment family.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. So you were able to play Wonder Woman longer than anybody else has played Wonder Woman.
I was.
Which is amazing. But is there anyone else's portrayal of the character that you particularly enjoyed?
Well, of course, I love the new movies. That's lovely, wonderful to have. It's nice to see Wonder Woman finally hit the big screen.
Yeah.
But I really didn't follow. I mean, I can Google who played Wonder Woman, who did Wonder Woman at any given time. And I've gotten to know Susan Eisenberg fairly well because of conventions, and she's just adorable.
Yeah.
But as far as knowing their performances, I really have to admit guilt. I do really not know. So
That's right.
I accept them all as keeping Wonder Woman going, and that's great.
It is cool that they keep her legacy alive. They keep her going, and for generations of little girls to get to look up to her is very, very cool.
Well, you have to remember that she was the only icon we really had as girls. I mean, the guys had all these other, super things, and this was really the taking both sides of a human being, the male and the female, melding them into one human being, having them look for harmony and peace and love in the world, and trying not to kill anybody. That was pretty special, and it really is to this day. And in the SuperFriends cartoons and the Challenge of the SuperFriends, you didn't see anybody die.
No. No, it was pretty family friendly for the time period, especially. Yeah. So many times, Shannon, we notice that when an actor or an actress plays a certain character, they put a little bit of themselves into that character. So for you, what was something that you took from your own personality and put it into your portrayal of Wonder Woman?
Probably the elements of myself where I always felt very strong, very self-contained, very confident, and very independent. I would say those would be the qualities that I included. But it was the director who actually made me take off the shirtwaist dress and put on the boots. Because when we played with the part in the beginning, gradually as we were working with it, she got a little tougher. So
right.
It's an edge you try to keep between the female, the feminine, and the strength. And I think we did a good job.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think that those qualities came out in how you portrayed her, because she did, even though she was working with the Super Friends and the Justice League and all those things, it was evident that Wonder Woman could have easily gone off on her own and done her own thing, although she was working with this gaggle of guys, and doing their thing.
Obviously, she was the one in charge, too. Everybody knows that.
Obviously.
Well, yeah. I one of the things I saw, just as a side note, since we brought this up, one of the things I saw is that somebody commented on the Justice League and the Super Friends and said that they didn't understand how Superman got to be the one in charge, because he was always the one sitting there going, oh golly, how did we get to this place again? And Wonder Woman was always like, let's go do this. Which I thought was kind of entertaining. So
Good point.
That is an interesting change of character, I guess.
Yeah. Well, everyone was very individual, of course, and the people that were cast were very individual too. So that's what may have made it a success. That and the fact that the writers just had a great time with it, and we had a great time doing it. We really did. We tried to be all together as much as we could when we were recording, because part of the joy of doing a cartoon in the first place, and of course a cartoon is always broader than real life, was working off of each other.
That is a big thing with acting, is being able to feed off of each other. And as you mentioned, that was, you guys tried to be in the room together. And
Yeah.
that was more common then than it is now, especially in the pandemic. A lot of voice actors are voice acting from home, and they don't get to feed off of each other. They don't get that camaraderie.
For sure.
With doing that, with being in the room with the other actors, do you have a particularly fond memory of one of those sessions?
Oh, there were so many sessions over that 10-year span. I guess the times when somebody would just say something extremely funny unintentionally when we're recording, and crack us all up, of course, or someone was, you always had to do more than your lead role, or when somebody just didn't quite cut it in the secondary role and had to start over. So there were the funny things, yeah. But the personalities were just funny. I mean, Michael Bell, to this day, is a good friend of mine, and he's one of the funniest people I know. So, off or on screen, it doesn't matter with Michael. He's just funny.
all right, excellent. You've been part of so many iconic shows. If you go down through the list of the shows that you have participated in, I saw you having credits for Bonanza, Dragnet, Love Boat, my favorite, Martian, The Man from U.N.C.L.E, I Dream of Jeanie, SuperFriends, of course, and there's a long list of several other shows. I mean, many other shows. So outside of having the opportunity to play Wonder Woman, was there another favorite show or character when you look back over your years and you go, you know what, this was a great show to be part of?
Well, as far as the show itself, there wasn't a specific show that I mean, I loved working, for one thing, and they were all wonderful to work on, and most of the people were wonderful to work with. I've worked with some really wonderful people, always welcoming to me. I would have loved to have been a regular on a long-running series. That would have been very special.
Mhm.
That didn't happen, so I take what I can get. I did several pilots that were spin-offs of shows, and the parts were really quite wonderful, but networks didn't buy it, and so such is our business.
That is
Okay.
That's sad too, though. That there are so many shows that don't get the green light, that they just get the pilot and that's it. And
Yeah, that was very common when I was younger, very common. I mean, pilots, there was a pilot season. Now I'm not so sure that there's a season anymore.
I think it's just a
But
pilot episode now.
yeah, and they often will get on the air. I don't recall if ours actually went on the air, any of the ones I did. I don't recall. But now, of course, they don't want to waste the footage, so they're going to put them on the air someplace.
So looking through your IMDb, there are 3 smaller movies called The Surge of Power, so Surge superhero, that you were included in, including the 2020 Doctor Who tribute video. So as the resident Whovian for our podcast, are you also a Doctor Who fan, or was it just another job?
I'm a Doctor Who fan, but I have not seen all the people that have done the Doctor Who. I'm not an avid fan. I'm just always curious to see who the next Doctor Who is. And I was, of course, delighted when all of a sudden it became a woman.
Yes. Yes, it was about time.
About time. We women are so far behind the curve.
So far. So do you have a favorite Doctor then, or is it just Jodie Whittaker because she's awesome?
Oh gosh.
There are so many to choose from.
I mean, really. I mean, and they chose good actors every time. So that's a tough call. That is a tough call. Although I got so stuck on the fact that Doctor Who was a man that it was hard for me to make the transition in my head that it was going to be okay to have a female Doctor Who, but of course it.
Shannon, we have a Facebook group with over 132,000 members at the moment.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so we took a picture of your version of Wonder Woman and put it up in the group and said, if you could ask Wonder Woman any question, what would you like to ask? And we got a ton of responses. So I would like to present to you 3 of those questions, and you can answer them as yourself, or you can answer them as Wonder Woman. Okay? So however you choose best to answer the question. So our first question comes from Aaron Wonder. That's his name, Aaron Wonder. He asks, is there a burden with a name like Wonder? Asking for a friend.
Well, her name was Diana. But she was referred to as Wonder Woman because she was a Wonder Woman. So I guess there's no burden. No. I mean, her whole job coming down to this planet was to actually be a wonder. Change things. Lots of changes.
All right. I'm good with that. All right. Scott, and I'm going to apologize, Scott, because I'm positive I'm going to slaughter your last name here. But it was a great question, so I didn't want to skip it. But Scott Masao, I'm hoping that's how you pronounce it, Scott. My apologies in advance. How does it feel to be a role model for generations of young women?
Wow, it really feels wonderful. I have to use the wonder word there because I've done a lot of charity things, like for Special Olympics when they used to be out in California at U.C.L.E. and Penny Lane, a group for very needy children that were on the street. And to greet people who find out that I was Wonder Woman on SuperFriends and challenging SuperFriends, their eyes just light up like saucers. And so many of them tell me what my performance, what my voice gave to her did in their lives. And it often has changed lives. It's given young girls the sense of empowerment that they too can do wonderful things. And that now I have the parents and the grandparents coming to me at comic conventions and sharing that this is becoming intergenerational and now they're back on, what is it, HBO Max, the whole series.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so,
it is.
For me, this has been, who would I rather represent more than this woman who believed in truth and justice and goodwill toward all men?
Excellent answer. Okay, I like that very much. Thank you.
I don't think
All
there's
right.
a better answer to that.
No, I don't think there is. I think it's a good one. All right, so we have one more question. This comes from 2 people asked basically the same question. Both Nathan Houghton and Richard Scott both asked, how do you find your invisible jet? And Richard Scott added to that, I want to know how she finds the jet because my car is visible and I still have trouble finding it in parking lots.
I take a picture of it with my iPhone. I have a location finder in my iPhone.
There you go. A little GPS marking.
And it doesn't hurt that Wonder Woman has whatever she wants at her command.
Well, yes, that is true.
And of course, she was always showing up. I'm on my way in my invisible jet. So she always had access to her jet. Sort of like a limousine driver who always shows up when you want.
Excellent. All right, Aaron, Scott, Nathan, and Richard, I hope that answers your questions for Shannon and the amazing Wonder Woman. So Excellent. Now, Shannon, we've got to a part in our show where we like to play a little quiz game.
Woo, nervous. I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be that nervous. It's 5 questions. All the questions are multiple choice. Okay?
Oh,
So we're trying to give you a fighting chance on the quiz, okay?
okay.
If you get 3 of the 5 questions correct, we would like to send you a copy of the I Gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans coffee mug, which has I have to be careful how I pick this up because it's full of water, the Funny Science Fiction logo on the backside. Okay?
Super duper.
Yeah. And if you get 4 out of 5 questions correct, we're going to send you that coffee mug along with a copy of this book, which is Custodians of the Cosmos, which is written by our group founder, Drayton Allen. It's all about a young man who wanted to join Starfleet but couldn't hack it, so he rejoined as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who boldly just went. So, now, however, where there's good things, there also has to be negative things. So, if you don't get at least 3 questions correct, we'd like to take a picture out of you and make a meme out of you and post it in our group. It will be a tastefully done meme, of course.
Of course. Okay.
Would that be okay?
That would be okay. I'm ready to fight for my life.
There you go.
Right.
And just for future reference, if you should not get and we could take a picture of you for a meme, you're in very good company. Dan Povenmire from Phineas and Ferb is one of our previous recipients, and a couple other fellows as well. So you're in good company.
And you won't think I'm stupid if I don't get enough questions.
Absolutely not.
Of course not.
And are there one of those answers that say all of the above is correct?
I don't think he did that this time. No.
No, not this time. Usually, sometimes I do that, but not this time.
Hit me.
No. He's being nice.
All right.
All right. Question number 1. Which accessory of Wonder Woman's allows her to breathe in outer space? Her earrings, her wristbands, or her headband?
Is this for real?
This is for real.
Yeah.
This is for real. Start over, her what?
Her earrings, wristbands, or headband?
Headband.
That is incorrect. It is her earrings.
She wears earrings?
She does.
Yeah. Well, at least your version did.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see it past her hair.
you can't. I've got the best dollar is right with me, so you cannot. That's not a fair question.
No.
Okay. Well, we'll wipe it. We'll call it good. All right.
Tim wrote
So
It's all Tim's fault.
I blame the website I stole it from. So anyway. All right. So what was Wonder Woman's real name? Was it Delaney, Diana, or Danae?
Diana.
See, there you go. We told you we weren't going to be that hard. Come on.
All right. Question number 3. What is the other name of Paradise Island, which is Wonder Woman's home? A, Mascara Island. B, Island of the Gods. Or C, Themyscira. Why do you give me the ones with the hard names, Tim?
The mascara.
I happen to know the answer. It's Themyscira.
Thank you.
It'd
Why
be
do
like
we
me
give
giving
on the hard names?
It'd be like me giving me a Doctor Who question, expecting me to be able to pronounce something. So it's
There
fun.
you go.
You just like picking on the poor blonde.
There's that. There is that. All right. So, so let's see. Going on to question 4. And we'll say that because we threw out question 1, you've won the mug. All right.
Okay. I'm going to go get my towel in a minute and show you that you cannot see any earrings.
I'm fine with that.
I am definitely fine with that.
All right. So, during which war was Wonder Woman created? During World War I, World War II, or the Korean War?
World War II.
Very good.
And I will have you know, we were both born the same year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Little tidbit. She was introduced in 1941, and now you know how old I am.
You do not look it.
You're 30. You are 39 and holding.
Okay.
All right. And our final question. What is the name of Wonder Woman's alias? A, Diana Prince, B, Diana Knight, or C, Diana Day?
Diana Prince.
That is correct.
All right. So you get the coffee mug and the book. And we'll make sure that Drayton signs a little bit for you in there and before we send it off.
Do you want me to get my doll?
I would.
Sure.
It's the best doll there is.
Okay.
And I stand corrected. There are little tiny red earrings on her.
Oh, goodness. But they are so very tiny.
Yeah, little tiny red earrings. It's a DC doll. It's very hard to show you.
Beautiful.
No, I like it, though. That's cool.
Beautifully made.
Yeah, it is. Well done. Okay.
So on my background, mirrored screen, background picture.
Yeah, the hair's covering.
No.
All right.
All right. So we'll call that a 5-for-5 win. Good job, Shannon.
Okay.
So Shannon, thank you so much for being on our show with us today. Where can our viewers and our listeners find more about your work and what you're doing now?
Well, I just finished. Well, where they can find me, of course, IMDb, of course, Facebook, Shannon Farnon, and I have a YouTube channel that I've been very lax on doing new ones, but I do have a YouTube channel. If you just look up Shannon Farnon Wonder Woman, you will get to my YouTube channel. And I just finished doing the 4th Surge of Power movie, my 3rd. I didn't do their first one. This is my little doggy over here giving me loves.
Oh, hello.
And the first 2 I was in, I play Mavis, an artificial intelligence in this superhero's car. It's about a gay superhero, which is finally its time has come. So this time there are surprises, so I'm not going to tell you about the one that's coming up, but it's in the editing process.
Awesome.
And I have 2 commercials on the air, both for video games, but the commercials are not, I'm not in the video games. The commercials are for the video games. One is Headmaster and the other one is Headmaster and something else Master.
Okay.
And then there is a fan video coming up probably on his Facebook page soon for John Reddick, who is a master of collection, and I am seated with him and we walk all through his collection. So I'm liable to pop up just about anywhere.
Well, that's good. That's good. And we will make sure that we put the links to your YouTube channel and your Facebook in our description so that our viewers and listeners can find you.
Well, thank you.
All right, guys, we want to remind you that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to help our channel continue to grow, get amazing guests like Shannon Farnon here to have some funny moments with, share some laughs with. And so thank you in advance for subscribing. It helps out well more than we can ever really describe. And also be sure to check out Shannon's past work, her upcoming work, and her YouTube channel because Shannon Shares is actually pretty cool. I've watched quite a few of the videos, and I'm a subscriber. So, yeah. And also, we want to remind you that if you're not happy with the content of today's video, all you have to do is submit in duplicate, of course, to the Amazonian herself, Diana, aka Wonder Woman. She will confront the source of your complaints and employ the use of her lasso of truth, which will force the offending party to tell where they came up with their lame ideas. Repeat offenders will have to sign up for the Red Shirts program.
The stakes are getting pretty high on this podcast now.
They're getting there.
Thank you so much for being on the show with us, Shannon.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Very much enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 73. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt and fights alongside the SuperFriends, only to be destroyed by the Legion of Doom, he will know that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope. because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back, and what's left of his identity cards. And speaking of sponsors and show partners, check out this short video from our good friends over at Level Up Lightsabers. Information about Level Up Lightsabers and their online training sessions can be found in the episode description below.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2020 by Drayton Allen. Original music by Jordan Michaels. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned in this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation of or by Funny Science Fiction or its sponsors. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at DraytonAllen@DraytonAllen.com.